Hi.
How's that for timing?
Yeah, excellent
Is that
timing.
good timing?
You're very good actually at that, I have to say. Have you always been quite punctual?
Yes, I really like to be punctual.
I'm impressed.
And you do too.
Yeah, I haven't been too bad. I have given myself a little bit more time because you never know with Auckland traffic.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have to do a bit of a commute yourself for your work? Or?
Yes, I do. If I'm doing this in Sydney, I get a bus into town. And that's easy because my wife either drops me to the bus stop, then I get a bus all the way in. I sometimes get a train. If I'm working at the Opera House, I'll get a train. But otherwise, yeah, I do public transport all the time.
Oh, good. And so Sydney is home for you?
Absolutely.
Because you were born in Sydney.
I was.
And then you did a stint in Victoria, but...
That's right.
And
London and Vienna and Salzburg and blah, blah, blah in the USA. Lots of places.
And so when you go home, what do you like to do when you're, doing your own thing?
Well, it depends. I mean, I love doing cryptic crosswords.
Oh, yes.
I try to do a cryptic every day. And I'm getting back into reading. For a while I was a passionate reader and I read everything, and I haven't read for a while now.
What was the last book you read?
The Antidote by Oliver Berkman. And that was some time ago. And Susan Ehrenreich's Smile or Die, which I read sort of together, but I read bits and pieces. I pick up a book and I read half of it, and I dabble a lot in it because I've got a pretty big library, which I love. But I'm gradually getting back into reading it because I've been so incredibly busy.
Yeah.
A lot of travelling.
Yeah.
And I was in Melbourne on Tuesday, teaching all day. And I flew here yesterday, and it's not conducive to reading.
Right. You catch up on work when you're kind of travelling.
Yeah, I do scores and score preparation and all that sort of thing.
But cryptic crosswords must keep your mind very...
I love cryptic crosswords.
So, keeping you, I guess, your mind quite nimble. And you've written a memoir, haven't you?
I have, yes.
So how on earth... I mean, I've always been fascinated with people that write memoirs and have very specific recollections of early childhood memories. Have you always had a quite good memory?
I have a very good memory. That's all I have. It's a very good memory. I really do.
What compelled you to write a memoir?
I wasn't compelled. I was asked by a publisher. They said, look, they heard me do a TED talk, a TEDx.
Yeah.
And they said, we want you to write your memoir. And I said, why? And they said, because we think it would be really interesting. So I did, and it sold quite well. I went into a second edition.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how long did that kind of thing take you? Did you do little bit by little bit in between your work, or did you dedicate
Now, what I did was I came home every day after work, unless I was in the theatre. If I wasn't in the theatre, I'd come home and I'd sit down and just try and write between 3,000 and 4,000 words a night. And then I had a good editor.
Yeah.
Pardon me, so I didn't have to, I didn't have to correct anything. I just sent it all to the editor.
Oh, nice. That's a good,
that was good.
Good relationship.
It was very cool.
Had you heard about TED Talks before you'd become involved? Were you
I knew
phenomenon?
about TED Talks, and then when they said, we'd like you to do a TED Talk, I said, why? I'm going to talk about music education, so there's nothing else I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, and they said, good. So that was that.
Very good, and it's been a success. It's still in circulation.
It's
now,
still on the I don't know when I did it, but it's still on the. I don't watch them. I don't Google myself. I don't watch my own stuff. I can't bear it.
Really?
Once you've done it, you've done it. You don't want to watch it again.
And are you? Do you read reviews of your concerts or anything like that? You do.
I do. And I mean, a lot of people say they don't.
Yeah.
They just never read the reviews. I find that really hard to believe.
The temptation's too great?
Well, I read them and
you kind of take what you want from them, I guess.
No, sometimes they're really hurtful. Like, particularly critics who have a personal set, and some critics do, whether they like it or not, they do. And that's fine. But look, my view is, if you believe the good ones, you've got to believe the bad ones too. You know, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You've got to say, okay, this critic doesn't like what I do. He thinks I'm hideous. Fine. This critic likes what I do. He thinks I'm okay. Fine. End of story.
Now, you're here for our series of Unwrap the Music concerts, and
yes.
You mentioned cryptic crosswords. Are you a fan of puzzles, like Alga was a fan of puzzles? Do you see what I did there? Segue. Beyond cryptic crosswords, do you do jigsaw puzzles, anything like that?
I used to do jigsaws, and I do puzzles with my grandchildren. They love to do, you know, the matching shapes and you know, rubber puzzles and wooden puzzles, that sort of thing. The 3-year-old particularly loves those. So yeah, I like doing that. I'm more of a word person.
Right.
Really.
And do you still keep up with music as a hobby, or do you kind of allocate that as work and keep it there?
Music's never been a hobby. Music is everything to me, and I never get sick of it. And I do a lot of teaching. I have about 6 or 7 students. I don't teach them regularly because I can't, but they're all composition students. So I love teaching them. That's a really special thing to do. I never, ever, ever tire of teaching. I think teaching is incredibly rewarding.
And you've obviously got family, children, grandchildren. Have they followed in your footsteps in any respect?
Both my children learn music and they're very good. They're very good musicians, but they haven't followed it as a profession. And I think I probably turned them off. They look at it and they think, oh, I don't want to be involved with that. Because it's hard. Music's hard. It's really hard.
And you've obviously spoken about how important it is in early childhood to have music as a part of, for example, the curriculum. Is there anything that, you know, your own grandchildren received that they couldn't get in the curriculum, or things that you encourage or encourage parents who don't necessarily get that in schools to do with their kids?
Yeah, the most important thing with children is to actually talk to them and play games with them and do clapping games and lots of nursery rhymes. Anyone can read a nursery rhyme to a child, and that's got rhythm and meter and structure. So they're already good ingredients to have early in the child's life. And I play games, I've always played games with the grandkids where they finish the last line of the nursery rhyme and of the last word, you know, like Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. And when they get it, the excitement of listening to that and knowing that it's right, they never tire. Like, they'll do it for ages and ages and ages, and then one day they're over it. They can move on to the next thing. They're ready to go.
Interesting.
So I love all that sort of stuff with the kids.
Oh, good. Do you notice that I just did a circle
I know, a whole circle around the block. I did. I thought, that's Radio New Zealand.
That's okay. I just wanted to talk a little bit more. We're all right. We'll get a cup of tea.